What's up, amazing scholars? This is week 7. Holy moly, week 7. Week 7. And today is going to be a short class. It's just going to be one class, and it's what's your story? And it's based off of speaker versus influencer slash restoring childlike innocence. So if you were to write down the story of your life, what is your story? And have you restored your childlike innocence in the process? So I want you to draw a little timeline on a sheet of paper, and you're going to say, what is my story, right? And you're going to put you as a child, so little Marilyn or little Elizabeth, little Samantha, whoever, little version of you, boom, boom, boom. Then you're going to put present, and then you're going to put future. And you're going to say, what is my story? And this goes back to the first day of class when I said, why on earth are you here? Now, my question to you is, why on earth are you in this academy? Why on earth are you purchasing the replays? Why on earth are you so eager to grow? Why on earth are you having a resistance to growth? Why does it feel like there's constant turbulence coming upon you in growth? I feel a flow. Let's catch it. Let's catch it. Don't miss this. What is your story? Why on earth was darkness after you at such a young age? Why on earth did it have to be so rough? Why did it have to be so perverse? Why did it have to be so traumatic? Why did things come after you? What is your story? And then what are you doing with that story? Do you allow the shadows to cage you in that story? Did you allow the darkness to age you? Not just cage you, but to age you. Some of y'all have surrendered your dream and surrendered your life and surrendered your joy and surrendered your youth in the process. Have you allowed darkness to age you, to cage you, to silence you, to make you feel powerless, to make you feel that you are not someone that's going to do incredible things out there? If you're a part of this academy, or you follow my content, or you're someone who's connected to my courses, it is because the light that is in me is resounding in something in you, and it's causing a resonance of sound. You know how when if you could touch like a glass and you do it with the volume high enough, it could break glass? At a certain frequency can break glass, or if an opera singer sings, it can break glass. Well, the frequency of the light inside of me is breaking the glass that is shattering the cage that you have been placed inside of, and it's telling you what your story is. Today, if you have not known your story before, today you shall know your story. So when you go back to the beginning, do you see a dark beginning? I feel like almost everybody had a dark beginning. You know why? Because the parents that raised us, their inability to do this work, to take a growth academy, to learn, to grow, allowed the darkness to reside. Because if anybody is naive to darkness, they welcome darkness. I want you to write that in. Anybody who is naive to trauma welcomes trauma. Anybody who's naive to manipulation welcomes manipulation. So be grateful that you are aware that this world is shady, because you can catch the shade. Those that are like, oh no, the world is blissful and everyone's perfect and everyone's nice and everything is good. It can be, but don't be a fool. So when you look at your story, and I just feel that that is the theme of today, what is your story? What is your story? When you go back to the little girl or the little boy that existed, why was it so hard? And now look at the present. Is the hard, difficult darkness being the manifestation of today? Are you a product of the trauma that came after you, or are you a product of the victory of winning the battle when you were a child? And I want to share with you guys something. Yesterday, I swam with whale sharks, and I just posted it on my Instagram story, and I just shared with them, hey, as a little kid, I went through some traumas. I went through some nasty stuff, and my mom's ex-husband, which I didn't say on there, but I'll say it here, he didn't heal. That's all I got to say. It wasn't like, oh, he was such an evil, wicked person. And no, like I have forgiven him. And this is a big part of your story. Forgive Every vessel that was involved, but don't forgive the darkness. Forgive the vessels that were involved, but don't forget that it came from another realm. We're going to get a little spiritual here. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, and I'm not an idiot. And I know that there's light and there's darkness. The same way that the sun can rise, it can go back down, right? There's light and there's darkness. Whatever you think about that, that doesn't matter, because they both exist. There is hatred and there is love. There is murder and there is life. Whether you accept it or not, that's just how it is. There is sickness and there is health. There is poverty and there is riches. There's abundance and there is lack. There is polar opposites that exist in this realm. So all I said is that darkness stepped on my fish because it said I wasn't responsible. What did that story create? It didn't just create a little boy who thought he was powerless. It created a little boy who thought he sucks at being responsible. You know what it is to feel that you lost everything just because? That's a really cruel way to teach responsibility. I understand spare the rod, spoil the child. But to take the rod to that level so that the kid can learn responsibility, it made me never want to own anything or to be responsible of anything. You guys want to know something? All of you that are on here, my growth scholars, I am responsible for your growth. If I were to surrender responsibility to everything, you wouldn't be growing today. You wouldn't have a mentor today. I wouldn't want to. So I needed to go back into my story, not only to heal, but to restore everyone that's going to hear about it. And that's what I want you to know. When you heal, others must hear. Write that down. As I heal, others will hear. Why? Because if it try to tear you down, then you got to let other people know, hey, look, you're not alone, first of all. And I got something to tell you. I will share this with you because I'm out of it and you might still be in it. When you could talk about it, you're not in it anymore. A soldier can't talk about the war while they're in war, but a veteran can. You're a veteran. You're more of a veteran than what you know. And you don't have to get into details. There's a lot of things that I can get into details. There's a lot of things, and I don't like to get into details because details get things a little bit messier, and details start to personalize it into a person instead of to the situation. But you have to let people know as you heal, others can hear. But I want you to go into the roots. Don't go into the fruits. A lot of us want people to know about the fruits. Oh, I just got out of this relationship, bro. I just got out of this. I just got out of that. You know, our fruits are going to look different, but a lot of our roots look exactly the same. Neglect, abandonment, abuse. You see, neglect is a little bit different from abandonment, because abandonment is like they've just completely let you go. Neglect is that they're just like not nurturing you the way that needed to be. Abandonment is like, I'm not even going to take care of this tree. Neglect is just kind of like, oh, I'll take care of it here. I'll take care of it there. I'll do this here. I'll do this there. And then abuse is like, I'm going to tear this down. What is your story? What is your story? And as you heal, what do people need to hear? And right now, there's a story that's taking place of why you haven't built your business, why you haven't built your dreams. What is your story when it came to your intelligence? Were you considered the smartest kid in class or not at all? And because you were not considered the smartest kid according to the systems of your school, did that create a trauma that you begin to think, I'm not smart enough to build a business? Did you have a sibling that would mock you because they got better grades? Like, paying attention to the story and realize ridicule, criticism, words that don't align to you. We live in a world of two realms. And I realized if I'm going to help you grow, I also have to open your eyes to show you what's hindering your growth. If this is a growth academy, then I also got to show you what's been holding on to the roots of your growth. And a lot of what's holding on is the lies. A lot of you think that you're not intelligent. Do you know that when it came time for me to brainstorm, I would listen to Reinhard Bunke, one of my favorite motivational speakers, and he would say, dedicate 10 to 30 minutes to an hour in brainstorming. And I would sit there and brainstorm and put classical music, and all of a sudden my brain would just block out. And then one day I walk outside and light tells me, you know that you're intelligent, right? And I just started crying and crying and crying because as a kid, I was told I was an idiot and I wouldn't win the little winner's circle. And I wasn't getting the best grades. So how can I build a business if I wasn't the straight A student? How could I build a business? How could I be? And that's the thing. You think you're not wise because you've compared yourself to the systems, or you've compared yourself to someone else. But you are wise in your destiny because your destiny is in you. You do not get qualified for your destiny. Your destiny qualifies you. So, what is your story? We're going back to the past, right? Now we're going into the present. But what is your story? How is your story going to end? The reason for this growth academy is I want you to feel and to understand that you don't need another academy again. As crazy and wild as that sounds, because what this academy does is it helps you to realize that it's already in you. The ability to grow is in you. Yes, you could take a course, you could take this, you could take that, but to feel that you need a whole nother thing, when is it ever going to be enough for you to realize that it's you? I never took a course on how to create courses. I just started to create them. Why? Because my why is that darkness came and called me worthless. Darkness came and called me a fool. Darkness came and made me powerless. And what did I say? I'm powerful. I'm intelligent. I am going to build and create things. You came and tried to destroy everything. I'm going to build a bunch of things. And you know what? The whole world is going to build with me. And the whole world is going to realize they're wise. And the whole world is going to understand they're powerful. Because what darkness tried to stop, I revolutionized. That is your story. Whatever came against you is now going to be what you build. And maybe it's not your personal brand, but maybe it's the organization. And remember, in this academy, the way that you get a certified growth certification is that you created something. So whether it's your business is helping the world or you're creating a nonprofit organization that's going to help the world, I don't want you to create something that sounds nice to the public. I want you to create something that shatters darkness and the story that it was trying to create in your life. When people ask me, yesterday I was asked, hey, why do you want to help children? And I gave them a very blatant answer. I just said, oh, I just really like helping kids and I had it rough as a kid. But now I'm like, no, I had the worst childhood. I had belt marks across my face and couldn't go to school the next day and was told, oh, you're punished, so you can't go to school the next day. Instead of, I can't let you go to school the next day because they'll call the cops on me. You see, when I look at that, that's why I want to help children that are sleeping on the streets, because I find out that they're living on the streets because their households are so dysfunctional that the kids ran away. So when I create these things, what am I doing? I'm going back into the trauma that I went through and I'm building an empire. When I say that we as children used to build sand castles out of sand, and if you've been listening to these academies, when I talked about what is sand, sand is broken corals, it's broken shells, it's the dead things of the sea that we build with. The dead of my trauma will become the empire that I build. And as I show people to build their dreams, my toys were all broken as a kid. But now I live in the Philippines and the view that I have, it looks like Legos of a city view. And I'm living on the other side of the world in peace. So what darkness tried to destroy, I built and I'm showing the world because I have social media. And as I heal and as I explore and as I experience a dream with a childlike joy and a little kid's smile, it is destroying the patterns of other people's hurt and pain. That is my why. That is my story. And the difference between you and I is that I have understood my assignments. You have to understand what is your story, what is your assignment, because everything must come into alignment. Even the way that I want my physique to look, the way that I show up on social media, everything now is to empower the men. Why? Because I know what it is to be the little boy that felt powerless, the little boy who felt he couldn't provide for his family, the little boy who didn't want to have kids because he didn't heal his inner child. The most destructive time of my life is when I surrendered that I don't want kids. I don't want family. I don't want marriage. So I ran reckless to the point where I could have died because of how destructive I was. But when I said, no, I will have a future, I will have a family, I will build and I will create, and I am powerful because you changed the narrative. Some of you are battling with depression because you think that this situation that you're battling right now of not being able to solve the problem is a problem of the now. It's not a problem of the now, it's a problem of the then. But when you go back into then and you understand that opposing forces have come upon you because it understands robbers do not rob slumps. They rob banks and jewelry stores because there's something of possession there. You possess something that rattled darkness. And light is here to expose it to you today. So when I say, what is your story? As you're writing your timeline, I want you to see it. I want you to see the pain points, and then I want you to see the back then to the now to the what's coming. It's a timeline. It's a timeline. And one of my favorite parables of it's a scripture, and it says, makes known the end from the beginning. The end is already written. We've done tons of visualizations every morning now. Every morning since I've left El Nido, since we did week 5, and we're now in week 7, I have recorded a meditation that I listen to every morning that walks me through my dream, the dream that I desire in 5 years. You have no idea the life that you desire because you still don't know who you are and why this is your story. So looking at the trajectory of everything that tried to tear you down, the trajectory of everything that tried to tear you down, ask yourself why. What is your story? What did darkness realize about you before you even realized? Because before you could spell the word trauma, trauma was coming after you. Before you could understand that there was a division of 2 realms, one of the realms was about to knock you down while the other one was trying to cultivate you. And when you understand that, what can you build from that? I'm serious. You will not be considered as a graduated scholar until you produce something. Why? Because I want you to realize that you can already create something. I had the idea of creating this academy, and it came into alignment, and look at how much breakthrough has been taking place because of I answered the call to the assignment. Some of you are getting ready to get 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 ready. It sounds like a broken record, but you are. Oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe I need this, maybe it's that. No, what you need to do is understand your why. I read this book one time, and it said, if we had a skyscrapers, right? And then there was a tightrope across it. There was a tightrope across it. Amy Beth, if I had a skyscraper and there was a tightrope across it, and I said, Amy Beth, you're going to cross the tightrope for $20, would you do it? No, if you can on mic, because people are going to hear this after. Hold on.
No, I would not.
Okay, not for 20. $100?
Nope.
No. Okay. What if your son was on the other end?
Absolutely. Wow. That changed quickly.
So
wow.
when you see, when you understand your why, the impulse starts to take place. It is the lack of understanding your why. That's why you still haven't understood. That's why you haven't built to the level of where you have to build. That's why there's not a pep in your step. That's why there's this constant when you understand your why, it builds a clarity, which leads to the velocity. Thank you very much, Amy Beth. When you see the difference, $20, you won't do it. $100, you won't do it. Maybe even for $1 million, you're like, I don't know about $1 million. But when you realize that there is something that you love, now I want you to attach a love for the souls. Remember, we talk a lot about social media. I want you to attach the love for the souls that are attached to what you will build. Not just the people that you know now, but the people who haven't met you yet. The people who have not met you yet. What you build is called to be a blessing to who walks into the building. So when you talk about your then, and your then was dark, and it was mean, and it was hurtful, and it was just not the greatest, the childhood, the pain, everything, right? And then the now is the confusion, It's the trying to figure out your next move. It's the slowing down. It's the trying to grow but stuck, trying to make a decision, trying to find out what love life, trying to find out everything, trying to find out how to build a family, how to restore your family, how to raise your kids, how to send your kids off to college. Like, you're trying to figure it all out, right? But that is the surface level. Those are the fruits of everything. Even your last relationship that was traumatic was a fruit from deeper roots. Everything that you're experiencing in the now is just fruit. Roots happen in childhood. Fruits happen now in the present. These are all fruits. Your struggle with finances is not because you lost your job. It's because of the identity you had as a kid when it came to finances. It's the way that your family talked about finances. It's the inability of them to talk to you about wealth. It's the lack of understanding of wealth. So all of those things, or the way that you perceive wealth. Maybe you saw your family fight. I used to see my family fight over child support. So I always saw money as a conflict, so I would repel it. So you think that your battle is today. No, your battle was then, but you have to understand why you want to fight, because sometimes you don't want to fight for the person that's here today. Sometimes you don't even like the person that's here today, because the number one thing that trauma and darkness wants to do is cause you to dissociate from your identity of your true self. It wants you to not like who you actually are, because the second you love yourself, the second you forgive yourself, and the second you become one with yourself, you are the most powerful being on the earth. And when I say, why on earth are you here? It is because something in me resonates with you and causes you to say, I want to be one with me too. I've been getting messages on Instagram and people are like, I just watch your stories and I can't stop smiling. And I said, it's joy. It's joy. It's rare. It's rare. You don't walk around and see people smiling. I was walking around with a Santa hat and I just started singing randomly. I was singing, I was eating brunch and I was singing Christmas songs in the middle of a restaurant. And people were just like, what is wrong with this guy? But they were laughing and they were like, that was great singing. And I just have this joy. Well, that joy came at a price. Do you understand that joy? I love this from a mentor that I heard. He said, the greatest things in life are not free. They come at a price. Joy came at a price of healing. Joy came at a price of peace. Joy came at a price of sacrificing things to have the peace, to live the life that I dream of. But you have surrendered the fight for not just your identity, but for your calling, because you have allowed yourself to believe that you are not wise, that you are not powerful, that you are not capable, that you are not competent, and that you are not creative enough to make this happen. But I want you to realize, as a child, you used to build sandcastles out of sand or snowmen out of snow. What is snow? Snow is just rain that's falling from the cloud that froze on the way down. That's all it is. You guys are literally building with water. You built with water. You built with broken shells and broken corals and made castles. You built with water. You literally took away the limitations of what you could do. But then darkness came in and made you think you're not capable, you're not competent, you're not wise, and more money is going to make you into more struggle, and more money is going to make you have shadier friends, because then you became cynical and you're like, oh, but if I have all this money, then people are going to take advantage of me, and then I'm going to be like, you have repelled everything, and you have removed, I feel this so heavy, you have removed the possibility of the perception of a prosperous future. You think that the prosperity will come with more pain. Whew. Some of you have believed the lie that life abundantly will come with an abundance of problems. And yes, you may have more problems, but realize you are capable of finding the solutions. I'll never forget, as I was beginning to build my business, I met a woman who was beginning to thrive in her meal prep business. And she said, the problems that you thought were big, you realize they were small. And then you have bigger problems, but you just start figuring out how to solve them. When I decided to move to the Philippines and I told myself I was not going to ask any family member for money at any moment whatsoever, and I had to start figuring things out, and I was literally kicked out of my apartment because my roommate at the time was like, "Oh, we're not going to stay here anymore. I'm just going to go stay with a friend." And I had to figure out where I was going to live. I started trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to make sales? How am I going to do this? And it created a survival skill. But I realized that my ancestors had that survival skill. Maybe the reason you're not making moves is because you're so freaking comfortable and you're not in a sense of survival. So you haven't tapped into that strategy. Do you guys see when foreigners move to a country and they start figuring things out in order to create a sustainability because they had to leave their country back home? I didn't have to leave America to live a better life. I chose to come over to the Philippines to continue to build my life because I wanted to build in peace, but I didn't have to leave. America wasn't that bad that I had to be like, oh my God, I gotta leave America. But people leave Venezuela, people leave Cuba, people leave Colombia, people leave different parts of the world, people leave in the Middle East to go and create because it was so bad. And then they will just hit this level of genius. People leave Mexico, they leave their country and they hit this level of genius, but the second it gets comfortable, they stay there. So the person who was able to find a car, drive a car, make a business, ends up staying an Uber driver for 5 years, when in 5 months they were able to be capable of all of that because they create a cap at their comfort zone. You guys have created a cap at your comfort zone. The reason you're not growing is because you're comfortable. Let everything be stripped from you and you will begin to strategize and build things at a way that you never imagined. And it shouldn't have to come to that. What should be creating a pep in your step is who else needs to heal when they hear not just your story, but what you have built. If you are part of this growth academy, if you are a part of these courses, if you are a part of replays, if you follow me on social media, whatever it is, it's because you want to build something. And some of you, I don't know what it is. Look at your story. It's written in your story. The reason darkness teared you down then is because it was threatened by what was coming now. Have you guys ever heard the story of Moses, the guy who set the Israelites free? The Israelites were building pyramids and they were doing all these things. Well, did you know that at the time that Moses was born, the princes, the Pharaoh of Egypt said, let's tear them down because if they grow up, the men will be too powerful and they might revolt against us. What if darkness went after you because it was threatened that when you grew up, you were going to be its biggest enemy? What if you are the cure to cancer by healing people's soul? And people are here trying to find their little remedies in their medicine, and they find out that a lot of the illness is emotional illness. Did you guys know that? That majority of illness is emotionally induced illness. And that's even a word. I was listening to a book yesterday called The Magic of Thinking Big, and they have done studies on it that the emotions are what's causing the illness. What if you are called to be the joy and the dissector of the soul that brings the healing of cancer through a conversation? And the reason darkness tried to tear you down and to rape you and to throw you against the trash cans and do all these things to you is because it never wanted what you had inside of you. It never wanted the destiny that was written inside of you to come out of you. But who's going to win? Because if darkness can bully you then, but you're still standing, imagine now. And you are not that little kid anymore. I need you to realize you are not, because what happens is when darkness comes and tries to attack you, you're naive and you're powerless because your strength is less and your knowledge is less and your ability to understand who you are is less. But you can stay in that cage of comfort of that identity for a very, very long time. How many people die with books and songs and things never written or produced because they believed the opinions of others? Darkness also comes through the opinion of others. Do you know how many people have tried to send me back to America? And I'm like, absolutely not. And the more that I stay here, the more that I heal. The more that I have stayed in alignment with my destiny, because I know that I know that I know that I am exactly where I need to be. That yesterday when I swam with the whale shark, I thought it was just me being a little kid wanting to swim with whales. I didn't realize that it was going to take me back into the fish tank that was destroyed. And then I swam in the fish tank with the fish, and I didn't feel like I was breathing underwater because I was suffocating. I felt like I was breathing underwater because I was in abundance. You see the perspective and the shifts and the change and the things that are going to happen. You guys also want to be influencers, or you want to produce businesses, and you want to do so many things. You guys want to do so many things, right? You have to understand your why. If not, you won't show up. You won't show up. Why do I show up on social media every day? Because I know there's souls watching everything I do. Why do I show up on social media every day? Because I know that it's going to be the building block to the empire of everything that I'm doing. And why am I even dressing a certain way and doing certain things? Because I'm healing myself, but I'm also becoming the person that I must become in order for everything and every plan and every mission that I have to come into alignment. You are a 007 agent against the kingdom of darkness. With whatever you build, you want to build a children's organization, you are going against darkness. You want to build a place for kids to heal, you're going against the darkness. Like, realize it's light and darkness, whether we want to accept it or not. Why are these kids living on the streets? Because their parents are not healing because of the darkness of their trauma that created a cycle. The lack, the greed, the greed, the greed. I found out that in this country, there's greed. I've met crooked politicians talking about different things of what they're going to do with the money for this country. But you see it in America too, and you see it in Guatemala, and you see it in all these other places. So what are you going against? The spirit of greed. What are you going against? The traumas, the abuse. Realize you are powerful, but you have to understand your why. And what is your mission? My mission is against low self-esteem and a false identity. Because for so long, I was not just a coward, but I was walk into a room and just begin to feel so insecure and powerless in every room I was in. And I always just wanted people to like me. And when I had a divine intervention and light was like, stop performing for people, I became way cooler than I could have imagined. Like, I look at my Instagram, I'm like, yo, this is me. Yo, this is cool. I was literally like, even asked Jay yesterday, I was like, yo, this is the coolest story on Instagram. Like, this has to be the cool. And it's because I perform for me now. And in the performance for your purpose, you will live the most magnificent, majestic life because your purpose is attached to a why. And when you have your why, you are in alignment with your destiny. And if you're in alignment with your destiny, everything has to go and flow in your direction. This academy is part of my why. All I need to hear is what I'm going to talk about. Like today, what is your story? And look at how long I can talk because it's an alignment. The reason you are running out of content, the reason you don't know what's next to put is because it's not the full alignment. It's a surface level assignment. I ran out of workout videos to do. Why? Because I was called to heal the soul. Yeah, I help people with their workouts, but I have a lot more conversations I can have with people than workouts I can give people. Because what did workouts do? It showed me I was powerful. What did that do? It showed me, hey, I can't get bullied. I can't get abused because I know how to fight now. That's all it did, right? I could stand for myself. But that was a surface level of I'm powerful. Because my physique was great, but my soul wasn't. And that kept becoming a turbulence. I kept looking at the surface level. My body looks good, but my soul isn't. My body looks good, but I still feel insecure and I feel like a loser because I'm not living my dreams and I've quit my job and I've lost my car. My body looks good, but the whole inside, I'm letting my family call me a loser and I'm accepting that identity. My body looks good, but I feel like a failure. My body looks good, but my ex-girlfriend's leaving me because she says I'm not at her level. My body looks good, but then I started like, wait a second. I don't care if the body looks good. What is my identity? I'm powerful. I'm a man of excellence. And in the process of doing that, my body looks better than ever. How? Because I focused on the identity. I stopped going at the surface level. Those of you who help people with diets, focus on their identity and watch everything shift. It's not the food, it's the thoughts. When I go and eat a whole pie of pizza, it's the thought that I lack self-control. Because right after I go and eat a whole pie of pizza, then I could go watch a whole 3 hours of pornography because I feel that I lack self-control. So if I lack self-control, I lack it everywhere. But when I say that I am a powerful being, then it means that nothing that tries to take over me can take over me. Yesterday, I was hanging out with some friends and they kept wanting me to take more drinks. And I said, no, that was my cutoff. I had my drinks. I'm good. Powerless version of me is, oh, I don't want to look like a loser. I gotta have a drink. I gotta. No, powerful version of me is that I said I'm done. When are you gonna really stand? And this is what I want you to realize. There was a then, there was a now, and then I want you to put a capital NOW, because right now, in this moment, an alignment is taking place and the divine assignment is being whispered into your ear. And now, in this moment right here, the lights are turning on for your life and you are pulling back the curtain and you are seeing. If you can, close your eyes and just see the whole story. See the whole story, see the past, the present, the future. See how what darkness tried to tear down is the sandcastle you're going to build. So the dead things of the sea is what you're going to build. That when things got frozen, when the rain that was supposed to water the earth froze in the process, that was supposed to cultivate your growth came and stopped the ability. But you, with your imagination, were able to build with frozen water, that even the water was stopped from hitting the ground. Because snow is still water, but it's frozen, so it takes longer. So what was stopping you from being cultivated is now going to be the empire that you will build with. That when darkness try to knock your light out, you come back and shine so much brighter. What are you building? When you look at that whole timeline and you see the now, what are you building? What are you building? Right? Start writing it down. What are you building? What are you building? And realize that you have everything you need to build it right now. If it is to be, it's up to me because it's in me. It's in you. Every tool, every resource, every connection, it's in you. And a big part about it is you must show up as that person. If you don't show up as that person, the resources, the connections, the people won't recognize you because you don't recognize you. I want you to realize that. The abundant life that is called to you cannot recognize you if you are not you yet. Just yesterday, I was connecting with someone who wants me to be the face of their brand. And they said, we look at your photos and we see the face. This came as I've healed. This came as I understood who I was. This came as I solidified my identity in the fullness of who I am, that I'm just taking pictures with their product because I like their product. And all of a sudden they're like, we want you as the face of our product. And it just so happens that this is one of the most successful people in the Philippines who just made a little side product. I just connected my destiny, and a lot of opportunities are going to come from this because I have shown up as me. And it's just been photos on Instagram. I didn't set up a kiosk and try to sell their product. I just took photos on Instagram. And the thing is, it's not about the Instagram. It's about the identity. It's about the presence. It's about the showing up. It's when you are alignment with you, not only is the assignment clear, but everything that needs to come to you paves the way for you. You think the forces of darkness are strong? Well, light is the absence of darkness. So the more that you turn the lights on to the path that you need to take, the lights on to what you need to build, all the resources of abundance. I was staring at the waterfall yesterday and I stood under the waterfall. And Jay could tell you, because Jay was my tour guide slash boss slash all the above. And we went out there. And special shout out to Jay, because I wouldn't have even known about the whale sharks if it wasn't for Jay. We went out there. And when I stood under that waterfall, I could only stand there for 10 seconds. I was like, It was like hurting. It hurt. I was like, and I got out. But then I just marveled at how water was falling from the rocks at an endless rate. Abundance. There's an abundance on this earth. I looked at the whale shark and I just looked at how abundant its size is. And just because I've never swam with the whale shark, but doesn't mean the whale shark wasn't there. Just because you haven't seen the opportunities that are around you doesn't mean they're not there. Just because you haven't seen abundance or experienced abundance or encountered abundance doesn't mean abundance is not there. Some of you have been so stuck within the compromise of lack, and you are so set on circumstance that you have robbed your appetite for abundance. And there was a deep knowing inside of you that if you answer the call, because this is what happened when I decided to become a recording artist, I realized that not only will that increase my fame, that'll increase my wealth. And there was a subconscious part of me that did not want to accept this identity, because I guess I didn't want all the fame and I didn't want the wealth. But when I decided to say, there are people that need to hear these lyrics, there are people that need to heal through this music. Travis Scott did a music festival and people felt darkness and died in the audience. It was the craziest, darkest, twisted thing. And the whole concert was called Dystopia. I don't know if you guys saw that, but when that happened, I felt like a bat signal went up and said, whoa. And I thought, oh, let me just go motivate people with words. Little did I know it was a sign from light to say, it's because they don't have other music to listen to. And until you produce something, you're part of the problem. So I want you to realize something, that if you don't produce what you need to produce, you are part of the problem, because you know that you have the assignment, you have the gifts, you have the talents, you have the skills, you have the heart, and you have the treasures, and you have all the resources, and you have light signing off, co-signing. Light has co-signed and collaborated. Some of you are waiting on a collaboration for another stage. The greatest stage you could have is the stage of your life, the stage of your identity. You don't need another collaboration. You need an understanding. You need a revelation of the now. As you write that, I want you to write an even bigger now. N-O-W. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you now? Now, now. Understanding the now, because the future will come into alignment, because you understand the assignment. But what is it that you are called to build? And don't focus on the little things that you have to change now. Focus on the what is it that you have to build. And some of you are like, but I don't have the money, I don't have the resource, I want you to look at what you have right now. How are you on Zoom? Your phone or your computer? Bam, there you go, because I'm building an entire empire with those two things. Just leaving it right there. Just leaving it like, if I could drop the mic, I'm gonna drop the pillow. I'm having one of the most powerful speeches with y'all, sitting Indian style in my loft in an Airbnb with a laptop and a window. Why? Because I'm in alignment with the now. I'm not so focused on the details. I'm focused on the destiny. It's because you're trying to get in the details. Figure out your destiny, then get into details. Because if you're trying to figure out the details and then the destiny, it's not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense. When Noah had to build an ark, it didn't rain and there was no boats. So if he was like, wait, so what's going to fall from the sky? And how am I going to? No, he said, okay, I need to save my family. And what if you're doing this because you want to bless your children, you want to bless your grandchildren, you want to bless your town, you want to bless your country, you want to bless the world? What if you want to help everyone heal from the traumas that you went through? Today, when I did my story, I cried like a baby, because I realized that right after I released all of that, how many people are about to heal from their childhood traumas as I shared what I had to share. But I had to have experienced it first. So I had to heal, go and swim with the fish, not be triggered the whole time I'm with the fish, because if I didn't heal and I'm swimming with the whale shark, I would have started crying in the water and I would have never swam, and I would have just been there with my tears and my funk and my trauma. Instead, I was having the time of my life. I was the only one swimming with the whale sharks. Everybody was scared of the whale sharks. And people were like holding on. Jay came out a little bit, got a little swim in. I went all under. I literally, like, the whale's here and I'm swimming under the whale shark, and I'm like laying under the whale shark, and I'm just like having the time of my life, because I am winning my story. I want you to write that. on your entire timeline, I want you to write I win in capital letters. That's what you need to understand. The beginning looks like you lost. The now probably looks like, but then as the now began to amplify, and now, like as you continue to say what's happening in the now, what you just need to realize that if you align with the now, with the capital NOW of the understanding, you already won. You already won. It's not that, you might win. No, you won. You won. Because if you're still standing, you already won against what it tried to knock you out. If you're in a growth academy, told you I wasn't scared of the shark with the mask that scared me. Yeah, so let's clarify. Jay was not scared of the whale shark. It's just that Jay had the mask on and the snorkel and there was a lot going on and the life jacket. So Jay couldn't swim under the shark, but he was going to be able to swim around it. So here we go. I want y'all to realize this right now. Your now is here. It's here. And the person who jumped on before this video is not the person who's about to jump off. The person who listened to this audio is not the person who's about to leave. Because I don't just speak to speak. I speak to rattle false identities. I speak to tear down darkness that keeps people in cages. And I speak at the resonance, the same way that an opera singer can sing and break glass. I speak at the resonance of breaking all the self-doubt that you had. And I just felt a power release from me. Lost my voice as I said that. A power released from me. Because you have been lied to and told that it's too late, that you're too old, that you're not capable, that there's not enough money, no one's going to listen, it's not going to work. You've been told all those things. But I'm here to tell you, you already won. And it won't make sense until it makes sense. Who's right? Me, as I tell you that you already won, or would everybody else try to tell you? Who is where you want to be? Some of y'all listening to some village folks that have never climbed a mountain, and you're letting them tell you this is the best view that it's going to be. I love that you all see my stories. I was just telling Marilyn Robinson this the other day. I was like, I love that y'all are seeing me swim and doing things. And Marilyn confessed, she goes, it's so good because it makes us realize that we're stuck behind our desks. You've allowed too many people to call you a loser or to make you feel like a loser. You never lost. You just didn't know how to play the game. You never lost. You just never picked a team. Choose your team. And darkness doesn't care if you're in its team or not. It just does not want you to pick the team of light. So apathy is what takes over. Darkness doesn't care if you go and build some destructive, horrible, like nasty thing or like a sex trafficking factory or whatever. It doesn't care if you do that. It's just as bad as if you don't build what you need to build. Do you know that? Whether you build something that is horrible and evil, it's just as bad as if you don't build what's needed. Because yes, you can add to the problem, but you're still adding to the problem by not building. That was a slap. That's like when Travis Scott and everything was going down. I went on a speaking tour and talked about dreams and all this stuff, but I didn't realize it was a sign from light. Like, hey, they have no concerts to go to that are going to speak into their life. So they go to this crap. It was crap. It was crap. And it was dark and it was twisted and it was actually very demonic. People said they can hear sounds of synths and weird stuff. And they felt like atmosphere and everybody was on drugs. And it's like, I want to produce concerts that break people out of depression. I want to produce concerts that the lyrics are literally going to get people out of depression. So people walk in there, they're going to feel depression literally coming off of their body. The dance moves that I'm doing are literally gestures of like removing. Like there's a part where I go like, tell it to leave you alone. It's like if you're grabbing depression, you're throwing it off of your head and you're like, I'm done with you. Like taking off a helmet of this identity is not for me. But if I don't build this, I let the other team win. So when I say, what is your story? It's a story of a winner. If you heard this, it's too late. You will feel uncomfortable till the day that you die if you don't answer the call right now. Because truth resonates and truth makes you feel so uncomfortable until you choose to do it, until you choose to address it. And like I said, don't focus on the details of what you got to fix now. Focus on the visualization of destiny. And as you look at your destiny, the details will come together. Who must you become? And who must you leave behind? 2023 is a year that your legacy can birth. I'm working on a song. I'm working on a book. I'm working on an app. I'm working on a children's organization. But it's all in alignment with my wildest dreams. And what is my destiny? A powerful, wise man. That is how you win. You are powerful and you are wise. That's all you need to realize. You don't need tools. You don't need resources. You need more to understand that what you have in your hands, you're already capable. Your computer, your phone. If you understand that you're wise, you will create something with those two tools. And if you understand that you're powerful, you will realize that your only opposition is not a competitive business. It's a force from another realm. But when you realize that you're in the realm of light, what is the definition of light? Light is the absence of darkness. So I end this with this. Let there be light. Let there be light to expose every entanglement that has held you down and kept you in this cage. Let there be light to remove the scales from your eyes so that you can begin to see your true identity. Let there be light so that you can hear the instructions that are needed to launch you into your destiny. Let there be light so that the path of your feet will be made clear and you will no longer walk around in circles. And let there be light for you to see that the torment that you have been battling right now, to see what it really is and how powerful you truly are. And let there be light for you to understand the truth about your identity and your story. And let there be light for you to understand you already won. The trophy's already there. The awards are already there. And I want you guys to close your eyes right now. You're walking through the hallway of your future home. And there's pictures of the organizations you've built. And there's awards for what you have done. And then you look at the TV and it's a recording of a speech you gave for an award you were winning, for a problem you solved. And you're about to win a Nobel Peace Prize for a way that you brought peace into the earth. Open your eyes. Whatever you saw yourself winning, that's your destiny. As Bugs Bunny says, that's all, folks. I'm so excited. I know y'all saw some stuff. As I've been saying lately, we're just gonna close out and you're just gonna resonate. I just want you to resonate with what you saw. Don't rush into noise. Rush rush into the resonance of that way that you brought peace into the earth, the awards you built, the buildings that you had. Let that flow. Blessings, y'all. Blessings, blessings, blessings.